50 million euros. For Abde Ezzalzouli, that is the number stopping me today, and I still do not fully believe it. We flagged this exact figure before, and it is still just one outlet, Team Talk, carrying it. Nobody else has touched it. So no, this is not a done deal, whatever it looks like online. Here is what is coming. Some business today is signed and sealed. Some is pure talk, dressed up as fact. I am holding every single fee against what the player is genuinely worth, no exceptions. And with 32 days left before the window shuts in Germany and France, 33 everywhere else, expect more of these numbers to get silly. Watch this one with me. Bargain or blunder? Drop your verdict as we go. 50 million euros for Abde Ezzalzouli. Same number we had for you on July 29th. Still a rumor, still just one outlet running it, Team Talk, and nobody else has picked it up. That silence from every other source should worry you more than the number excites you. So let's ignore the 50 million for a second and look at what he is actually worth. 19.7 million euros. The range tops out at 21.7. If this fee is real, Newcastle would be paying nearly 2.5 times his ceiling. Here's the context that makes it worse for the buyer. Betis have him under contract until June 2029. 35 months left. They have zero pressure to sell cheap. And at 24, he's entering his peak years, so Betis know exactly what they're sitting on. Unconfirmed fee, real player, real overpay if it lands. Would you sanction that fee? Yes or no? Comments.
50 million euros for Cristian Romero. And the first thing to say is, nothing has changed since we talked about this. Same date, July 29th, 2026, same number, still just a rumor. No confirmation. Barcelona have not signed anything. But let's look at the fee anyway, because it actually makes sense. 50 million sits right inside his estimated range, 46.7 to 57.1 million. That is not a club overpaying out of desperation. That is a fair number. Here is what strengthens Tottenham's hand. Romero still has around 35 months left on his deal through June 2029. That is not a player running down his contract. That is a club that could simply say no, and Barcelona would have to meet the price. And at 28, he is exactly in his peak years as a center-back. Not a gamble, not a decline sale. So this one is boring in the best way. Fair valuation, strong seller position, prime age. Real deal or just noise again? Tell me which. 50 million euros for a player valued at 30.4. Nothing has changed since I told you this on July 29th. Same rumor, same number, same problem. Let's do the math again. Market range is 27.4 to 33.5 million euros. 50 is not close to that. It's not even in the same conversation. Here's the thing though. Juventus still had Conceição under contract until June 2030. That's around 47 months. When a club has that much time on their side, they set the price. Manchester United aren't negotiating here. They're paying a premium to make a problem disappear. Now, is there a case for it? Yes, he's 23. Whatever United pay, some of it comes back later if he develops and moves on. That's not nothing. But right now, on the numbers we have, this is still overpaying for a box-to-box midfielder who isn't even confirmed to be moving. Same rumor, same fee, still not adding up. Prove me wrong in the comments.
Right, 3 deals in and none of them added up the way the headlines told it. That checking, that's the actual work here, and it's why this channel exists. Subscribe if you want tomorrow's numbers verified before the headlines even catch up. 35 million euros for Delap. And before you nod along, here is the problem. That number is coming from one place, Team Talk. Nobody else is carrying it. We flagged this exact figure on this exact day before. Still a rumor then, still a rumor now. Nothing has moved. So forget the fee for a second. Look at the player. 37.4 million market value. Range goes up to 41.1. If 35 holds, that is inside the range. Fair. Not a steal, not a robbery. Here is what actually matters. Chelsea have him under contract until June 2031. 59 months. That is a selling club with zero pressure. And Leeds and Everton are both circling too, which is exactly why nothing is settled. Newcastle are not alone in that room. At 23, Delap still has resale value baked into any fee. So, genuinely, if you are Chelsea, do you even entertain 35 right now? Comments. 24 million euros. That is the number attached to Zion Suzuki to PSG. And I need to stop you right there, because nobody else is reporting that figure. We flagged this exact same number on July 29th, and it is still just one outlet's word. So we are not treating 24 million as fact. We are treating it as a target to judge against his actual value. And that value is 19.5 to 23.8 million. So even the rumored fee sits above the range. That is the first problem. Second thing, Suzuki has around 35 months left at Parma. That is a long contract. Parma had zero pressure to sell cheap, and it shows. But here is the case for PSG. He is 23. A ball-playing keeper at that age still has resale value down the line. So part of this is an investment, not just a transfer fee. Overpay or smart business for the age? Yes or no? Comments. 15 million pounds. Not 20 million euros. Let's clear that up right away, because the number going around out there does not match what the reports are actually saying. This is not confirmed yet, so keep that in mind. We flagged this one before, back on July 29th, also at 20 million euros. Also just a rumor, still nothing signed. Still worth talking about, though. Here is why the real figure makes sense. 15 million pounds lands right inside his estimated market value range, 17.4 to 21.3 million euros. That is not a bargain, not a ripoff. That is the market working correctly. Chelsea also had leverage here. Badiashile is under contract until June 2030, 47 months left. That is a long runway, and it means Napoli paid a fair fee for a defender at the peak of his career. 25 years old, ball-winning center-back, built like a wall at 194. Fair value, real leverage, peak age. So tell me, smart business, or should Napoli have pushed harder? Comments. 12.5 million euros for Leo Sauer. That's the number we gave you back on July 29th, and back then we called it confirmed. Today, nobody else is carrying it, not one other source. For a move of this size, that is strange. Deals like this get reported everywhere, instantly. Silence like this is a red flag, not a confirmation. So let's judge Sauer on what we actually know. His market value sits between 9.4 and 11.5 million euros. 12.5 is above that entire range. Stuttgart have already spent 125 million this window on one confirmed deal, so this fee barely registers for them, but it is still overpaying for the player. He is 20 years old, an inside forward, comfortable across the front line. 23 months were left on his Feyenoord contract, so their leverage was already fading. At his age, he still carries resale value, so part of this fee is an investment, not just a transfer. Confirmed or not, prove me wrong in the comments.
Imagine this. Newcastle lineup next season with Delap leading the line. Sharp, direct, exactly the profile they have missed.